Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another indie horror spotlight. Today I have with us some awesome guests. Well, first off, let me introduce. He is the director, and he has two movies out right now. One is called ELDORADO, and the other one's called La PERDICIon. I have with us Dominizano, Christopher Paro. Dominic, welcome to the Horror Room.
Repeat the question, sorry.
I said, welcome to the Horror Room.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
It's a pleasure as well. And then I also have with us, listen, he is the distributor and he also has a clothing line called Unusual Horror. I have with us Jack Evans. Jack, welcome to the Horror Room.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. Pleasure to meet you. All right, so Dominic, I'm going to start with you first. Tell us a little bit about ELDORADO.
Okay, ELDORADO is the first film that I did when I moved here in Canary Island, and I moved almost 5 years ago, and I didn't know at the time that Gran Canaria is the country where live the center of the European Santeria, the voodoo, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that. So I discovered this side, this mysterious side of the island, because there are shops that in the front line looks like tourist gift shops, but then when you go inside, in the last part, in the back, you can find statues, voodoo dolls, candles, and everything is typical about this theme. So I study a little bit, and of course, being so near the Africa and being so near the influence of the domination of the Spanish invasion, and so the Catholic Church is not so weird to find the cult of the Santeria here too, that is pretty active, because there are santeros, there are people that actually practice. And a few years ago, also in the local news, was the discovery of severed animals' heads on the streets and rituals and stuff. So I started to study a little bit more this world. And I said, okay, I wanted to do a movie that represent the change that I'm doing in my life, changing country, changing life, changing everything. And in the same times, exploring this matter that was very fascinating to me. And so ELDORADO started for this reason. And it is a journey that is very complicated, because we started, then we had the COVID restrictions in the middle that stopped us to work for a long time, and one actor was from another island, so he cannot come, so we had to freeze for a long time the filming, the shooting, and in the end, when we can start again, the actor was not available anymore for do the film, for finish, but we had almost 1 hour of shooting ready. So the screenwriter had a good idea to put a story inside a story, and then become various stories inside a story. So it is a traveler that follows the steps of another one with his diary, and go to explore the same places that he was, trying to improve the rituals for reach the enlightenment, no? Because the gold that the alchemist is looking for is an enlightenment of the soul. But sometimes, often happens that Europeans, for example, approach cults and culture that are not belong to them and doesn't understand exactly, no? So like many people that go for the Buddhism and ask for material things, no? It's not that you practice and you receive benefits in that way. Is a spiritual journey. So what happens to these people, without say spoilers, it's dramatic, because they look for material gold and not the spiritual gold. So it's a road movie that turns also into horror. Let's say
Now,
this.
and I have a question because I've talked to a lot of filmmakers, and COVID has, it fucked up a lot of individuals' work. Now, as a filmmaker, does that stop you when you have to take a period of time off between your projects, just not out of your own will? Does that stop the momentum and the creativity?
Well, what I say now maybe can make me not agreeable for a lot of people, and I hope that I'm not misunderstood for what I say. But for me personally, the COVID moment, that was of course a tragedy worldwide, many people die. I had also my aunt that died under the COVID, and I cannot even say bye to her. So I know that's a tragedy, but in the same time, I can say that the COVID moment for me was really a moment for find myself, for discovery, for being in touch with another side of me. I never cried about myself. I never felt desperation. I took the COVID like an opportunity for be alone, for think, for create, and I didn't, beside the restriction, beside the pain to not see the friends, the family, or to lose someone, beside that anyway is part of the life, no? I had a very creative moment that I cannot say that the COVID stopped me, because I did two movies during the quarantine in my house with my roommate. We did two movies. One is The House Guest, another one is Blue Sunset. And then when we moved here, using the pauses between a lockdown and another, but actually here, that is always spring, we had not all the restriction that I had in Italy, because like bar and restaurants, if you had a terrace, you can be open. Imagine here is everything under the sun, so people can go on the street, they can go to the bar, can go to the restaurant. So the life here was pretty normal. The only restriction was for move from an island and the other. So that's why Eldorado stopped. But in the meanwhile that Eldorado stopped, I did La Perdición. Because, okay, I cannot use the people from other island. We use the people that we have here. So we keep producing, we keep going ahead. And initially, that was an idea to do a trilogy. So Eldorado, La Perdición, the last one, it is the legend of Jan Telei, inspired by Dagon, by Lovecraft. So it was the idea of the isolation, no? That is pretty near to the concept of the COVID too. So, no, it didn't stop me. It was a creative moment. I know many people that was very desperate, and I can understand that, but I think this can be an opportunity for these people too, to reflect what bring you to this situation, because it's not the COVID. I mean, the COVID is like amplify a situation that already exists. Because when you are alone with yourself into an house and you don't feel good, you need to work on yourself, because your salvation cannot be always the others outside. And I mean, when I say his life, is because from sample, I lived almost of my life in Italy, but from the moment that I moved here, I lost, I can say, 70% of my friends, people that was having dinner with me every week, that was calling me every day, just for the fact that I changed country, they disappeared totally. So, I mean, it's not the COVID just the problem, you cannot be in touch with the people that you love, even if it depends from the quality of the relation that you have. So probably if you are not happy, it depends from the quality of your surroundings. And I worked a lot in this moment for develop a quality inside me, in the way that I can be with many people or alone, but I will be always fine because I'm in peace with myself. And
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
Love it. Now, Jack, you're a distributor with Unusual Horror and clothing line as well. How did you and Dominic get in touch with each other?
So originally, I think like it started out about I think it was about 2 years ago now. I had first started like trying to dabble in officially licensed stuff. I knew it was very forward for the clothing line. I kind of wanted to sort a lot of like try and do more stuff that's focused around the underground scene, because it's inherently the scene that always gets forgotten about the most. There's a lot of indie developers that produce some amazing work out there. Some of my favorite films are independent films, and basically, like I think it was. I originally started talking to Stephen Biro from Unearthed Films about doing some work with him. And he spoke quite highly of Domiciano back then as well. So I had remembered that I'd already seen, I believe it was House of Flash Mannequins. I might be wrong. One of the many films that you've released. I'd watched I'd watched one of them a couple of years back, and I could just remember like really thoroughly enjoying it, loving how like dark but also like kicking the teeth kind of film progression it was. And I just like added him on Facebook. Just thought like, you know what, like I'm now a part of this scene where you can just do that. You can like talk to these people like easily, be able to just communicate with somebody, just be able to say hello and find out somebody's like details, like not impossibly be able to talk to them on Instagram and Facebook. I just started talking I think it was just for like a couple of weeks, mentioning about the clothing line, mentioning about the kind of stuff that I do. And Domiciano loved the stuff that I did. Really loved how like visceral the stuff that I did, how I don't really hold back on the designs that I release. I work with people that don't want to hold back. I won't censor the stuff that I release. I'll always go for like the more disgusting stuff, the better. So I jumped on board to do some official merch for Depop XXX and House of Flash Mannequins. The t-shirts are out. They've been out for quite a while now. I got like a handful of them left, but I love them. It was being able to like kind of speak to people about those films, because a lot of people recognize them when I went to conventions, and I ended up bumping into Jay, who I'm sure Domiciano you know quite well, your beautiful creepy clown in the remake of the House of Flash Mannequins. He was absolutely in awe that there was a t-shirt with his face on it. He was incredibly happy, and just like the love that he kind of spoke about the work that the both of you did with each other. It really inspired me. It kind of proved the why I wanted to go for the independent stuff. Like it's not the most lucrative market in the world. It's not the most like pays the bills market, but I love it. It's the scene that I'm happy to be a part of. And basically, it's like since we start, since doing that, we've been speaking quite a lot ever since. And Domiciano gave me the absolute wonderful opportunity to be, because he's always known that I've been wanting to step into distribution, and he gave me the once in a lifetime opportunity to be able to distribute like these two amazing movies, and I jumped up the opportunity. It's great to be able to talk to people about these films, be able to showcase them, be able to watch them with friends of mine. It's great to see their reactions and just know that that's a part of like something that I've been able to provide.
And that's the hardest part. That I've talked to a lot of indie horror filmmakers, and distribution is the one roadblock for a lot of them. And it's either because finding someone who wants to distribute their product / market and brand it, as well as, you know, there's a lot of shady ass distributors out there that will take your project and not do the right thing. And by having the t-shirts and all that too, I mean, just the branding, because, you know, you have to brand your product. You have, so people can see it and promote it.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. I think it's an angle that a lot of distributors kind of miss out on when it comes to merchandise. I think it's I think like I come from a bit of a special place because I'm quite heavily involved in the local like metal scenes over in the UK. I put shows on. I run a festival as well. So I'm very heavily involved in bands. Like bands are everything to me. And in this day and age, the best way for a band to promote themselves and to make money and to really shine is through merchandise. And when it comes to metal bands as well, it's visceral artwork. It's very in your face. It's very gruesome. It's gory, and that's what promotes the bands. I've seen bands that have exploded from T-shirts alone, from just like a gnarly design that people have found their music to listen to them. And it's kind of the angle that I wanted to try here. It's taking the merchandise first approach, but also like bringing in the distribution side to it as well. And it's an angle that's worked. It's worked great. I've had people that have picked up the T-shirt that didn't even know that the film existed, and then immediately bought the film because they just love the T-shirt itself.
Yeah.
And like an angle that loads of people don't think of, and a lot of people kind of get stuck in this loop of like, if you do get official merchandise for a lot of stuff, it just tends to be DVD artwork on a T-shirt in a box that's like here at biggest, and that's about it. Quality's not usually amazing. Like, no shame on like distributors, because like going with DTG and like print on demand stuff, you kind of do need to do it to be able to make the profit margins. But thankfully, because I come from a merchandising forefront, I was able to like take a different risk angle that other people like aren't as privileged to be able to take. And it's something that's worked great. It's being able to have these conversations, like I've said, being able to upsell a DVD on top of a T-shirt is a great thing to be able to do.
It is. Now, Adamo, how refreshing and great is it to have a distributor that you can focus on your creative side, and he can take care of the promoting, the marketing, the business, the merchandise.
And we have to say that Jack have a big passion and is even too correct, because you see, well, let's show it. This, for example, this cover, no? One person see the cover, but you don't know how long it takes for arrive to the final version. He did also different artists, all great. They do different style, different, until we found the cover that is not only beautiful but they also really represent the movie. And so there is a lot of dedication. But I told him, I trust you, I trust your artist, do what you want. But every time he will say, what do you think about this? What do you think? More present than people that work with me now. So he was really passionate about the work, and he put a lot of attention to every details. And also, let's show it. It is a 2-disc release.
Nice.
Like this. And not only La Perdición, because there are lots of special features. He dedicated 1 disc to the movie and 1 disc to the special features that tells also a parallel story about the movie. And there is also the documentary about the 3rd movie that for now will not be done. But there is the story, the test that we did with the camera, and it's a very complete release that show passion, because sometimes, you offer extras, bonus to many people, but for them it's just a bother to put more stuff into a DVD. He did already 2 for give the quality to the products. And it is important, especially for me, because as I said, those 2 movies represent also a stylistic change for me, that I'm known especially for horror, extreme horror, and I wanted to take a break and change a little bit direction. So Eldorado, it is a road movie that have, of course, horror vibes, and La Perdición, it is a drama. Basically, it's a drama with some horror vibes inside, especially in the end. And with this movie, for example, I was invited to the University of Amsterdam to discuss the staging of gender and violence. So those movies are very important for me because represent a change, and in some way a distance with the horror field, but it is important that they are released with so much care, so much complete editions that can allow the people to understand more the journey that I'm doing, also in an artistic way.
Absolutely love it. Now, tell us a little bit about La Perdición.
La Perdición, okay, it's a very dramatic movie. But for me, it was fun to do because, of course, everything terrible we see in the movie is staged. And I was always, in some way, recently, how can I say, bullied online because I use a lot of male nudity in the movies. I use female
Interesting.
nudity and I use also male nudity. I'm a dancer. I'm born with theater, with dancing, and so for me, I'm a master degrees in arts. So the art for me is strictly related to nudity, paintings, sculptures, ballet, everything. So the use of the human body in my movies is something natural, is something normal, and is not absolutely sexualized. And I have men like women, but I realize that the people, if you have a naked woman in a movie for 80 minutes, they remember just the 4 minutes with a man. So I was the penis guy, the director that put only men in the movies, and so La Perdición actually is the story of Robert Hansen, a serial killer that used to kidnap women, abandon them in a desertic place, and then hunting the victims like they are animals. It's a terrible story, and he did like with 40 women, if I'm not wrong. So I said, okay, I like this story, I like the idea, this concept, but I will piss off all the people that follow me, and I turn the woman in a man. So he doesn't chase women, but chase men. So fuck you all. And yeah, in the basic, this is the idea. Is how one of the professor in the university say is a modern gay melodrama because there is the first part is a love story, and the second part is a very how can I say, very dramatic escaping, no, because it's very claustrophobic, the movie, even if the most claustrophobic part it is in the island, because all the first part of the movie it is on a small boat, and the second part of the movie it is on an island, but looks even more claustrophobic than the little space in the boat, because there is no escape. You are alone, naked in the nature, and someone is chasing you for killing you, and you have no place to hide, no place to go, and no food. I think it's very claustrophobic, the idea that someone can experience something like this. So it's a movie that I did especially with the idea to experiment something different, and also for peace the people that is bothered by male nudity. And because really, I tell you something that I really don't understand. I mean, in a horror film, I cannot believe that make difference if the victim is a man or a woman, because we are talking about people killed, tortured, and I cannot believe that in a horror, when a person is tortured, you enjoy because it's a woman. So maybe you have a problem. Maybe it's better that you watch porn if you is what you are looking in a movie are tits in a horror movie.
Mhm.
For me, to see the death of a man or the death of a movie is something horrible in both ways. Doesn't care the sex of the person. But I cannot believe that there are people in this community that accept a movie only if are the women that are killed or tortured. And this is, to me, is amazing, because I think that something is wrong in this society, because no, the gender is over. So this is the reason that, thanks to this movie, I was invited to a university to speak to students about staging gender and violence, because I'm probably the first person that did it. So it is interesting too. Social
Well,
anthropologic way.
I actually agree with that because I'm, living in the States, right? And there's a big popular movie series, which I'm not going to talk bad about anymore. But, they just had a new one that finished #1 in the box office this past weekend. But, yeah, but, but but those movies are so ultra violent towards women. Women. Like, I'm not saying that men don't die in those movies, but women, it's just such a long, and they're always naked too, long, naked torture scene. Now, for me as a man, right, I cringe with the thought of being naked and someone's chasing me or I'm about to get killed naked. There's something about being naked, it makes me feel vulnerable. So I
Yeah.
cannot even imagine right now if a man broke my house, I'm butt ass naked, just got out of the shower, and now I have to defend myself naked against someone who is trying to hurt me.
Yeah. No, I think basically, for example, I use the nudity not much for represent a vulnerability, but because I think it's the essence of the human being. And I think that a body covered in blood is the also almost a symbol of life and death. No, we born naked, covered in blood,
Mm-hmm.
and probably this is the way we have to die. So for me, is something ancestral, is nothing sexualized. And what amazed me is that even a movie like Red Crocodile that I did years ago was defined like a gay movie because the actor is naked for almost all the movie, and I mean, there is no sex in the movie. How you can say that that's gay? There is no. We don't even talk about his sexuality. He doesn't even have sexual act. Just because a man is naked, so it is a gay movie. And I mean, so when we see woman naked in a movie, this is a lesbian movie, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because I can understand it. It's like the audience is for horror is all men, the real men. So if there are women, it's because it's for men. If there is men, it's because it's for gay. No, exists women too, and maybe there are women that enjoy to see a man naked. People don't think that women have this freedom to enjoy
Exactly.
also. I mean, it's all from the point of view of men, and very straight men. I mean, I think that a straight man is not bothered by see a penis. This is my opinion. If you are so bothered for, and also I wanted to do a test for this red crocodile that is a man naked all the time. Well, I cutted in the movie all the time that we can see the penis. The movie is 87 minutes, and the time that you can see the penis is 4 minutes. So if you remember, 4 minutes on 87, the penis is what you was looking for.
Yeah.
because there is 80 minutes of story more. and this is amazing. I always try like to talk about this thing because I think that this society, I'm really totally against the censorship. We are living in a society that is very controlled by censorship, and maybe I used to say normal person, but I standard not in a bad way, because if I'm a director, I use nudity, so I of course face more often this problem. A normal person that doesn't have to post nudity even is censored or use some words, because now they censor also the words, even if are printed in a poster, for example. It's not just writing, it's also they recognize what is written on a image. And I face censorship every time. I got banned every week because even if I censor pictures, I cannot promote my art because an algorithm of someone decided that a female nipple, even in a painting, is obscene. And we are adults, and we have our background, fortunately. But imagine the impact of this censorship and moralism of the social media, Instagram, Facebook, and etc., on the young generations. A young person grew up with the idea that if I use the word, I get banned. So it's a sin, is not possible to use. If I publish these images, even if it's a painting, this is not good, this is bad, I cannot do it. This is a brainwashing, because you grew up like with the mentality of a person in the middle age. I cannot do this, or God of internet get pissed and punish it. We are growing people. I'm telling you, I do theater too. I'm an actor. I do buto dance, that is a traditional Japanese kind of dance. Let's call like the expressionist dance, and often we perform naked. But this happened from the 50s in Japan.
Mhm.
Was a movement that restored the culture after the atomic. And now in the 2024, so 74 years after, there is still people, they say, oh, it is legal that you perform naked? Legal. I mean, it was more open, the Japan in the 50s after the atomic, that our society now that think that is illegal, everything. But if we just follow what happened for the Olympic Games, where a symposium of Baku was confused for the Last Supper, or people commenting on how the swimsuit of the athlete was too tight and it reveals too much. We live in a sick society, moralist, but in the same time obsessed by nudity and sexualize everything, because there is too much censorship that doesn't make a human body natural. That's why we have an increasing of violence, increasing of rapes, because people is frustrated. If people is normalize the bodies, I think that the criminality will really go down.
See, but it's different here in the States. Sex is like thrown in your face here in the States, in the United States. It's literally boom, boom, boom. Like I walk in the street right now and I see women showing off their bodies. I mean, tight. I think I mean, and I think I've also been to other countries where it's definitely censored, sexuality. But here, I mean, porn is free. Like you can, if you have a smartphone, you have an internet, you can watch any kind of porn, whatever kind of porn you want for absolutely free. And like sex here is huge. It's not censored.
I think it's because in America.
So they censor only me. But as you say, sometimes I post on Instagram. Even this image, this poster is inspired by one frame of the movie. As you can see, that in the same time, this scene is inspired from an ancient painting of the from inspired to a scene of the Divine Comedy by Dante. No. So this position, I don't remember now the name of the painting, but this situation reminds of old painting, and I got banned for post the picture of this.
Wow.
And you open Instagram and I see only, sometimes I'm ashamed to open Instagram in public, because appears tits, ass, penis, jock strap, and I say, oh my god. Well, scroll, and a poster of a movie is banned, a painting is banned, and
that's crazy. But I think that's Facebook and Instagram, because I've posted shit that's I don't think is offensive, and I've gotten banned or haven't taken that. I think it's Facebook and Instagram, because even going on Twitter, I see a lot of stuff on there, and it goes through.
Well, Twitter is the far west.
Yes, it is far west. I see a lot of stuff. I'm like, well, how did that get approved? But
you know what I like? I don't have Twitter, but I like the idea that you can set up your profile like for adults contents and not, so people can decide what they can cross. And
exactly.
I mean, this is freedom, because you cannot decide for me what is good or what is not. I have to decide. If I want to see a statue of David or Michelangelo, I have the right to see it. You cannot censor it for me, because you are not my father, you are not my boss, you are not my God. But there is people like Zuckerberg that decide that this, and in US, I think few months ago, a professor of arts was removed from her teaching because she showed the David of Michelangelo to the students. The David is a naked statue, and it's a symbol of Italy. It's in Florence, worldwide. But because she showed the statue, the parents of the childs, I mean, middle school, so teens, they was shocked because she showed pornography. No, my friend, this is art. It's not pornography.
Art.
If you cannot understand, I will remove the child from you, from parents like you. Not remove the teacher.
I agree.
But you know, this happened under bad governments. So, and in Italy now, for example, I'm so glad that I'm not there because the Italy now is living in a new Middle Age. Totally, we are coming back 200 years, maybe. No, because 200 years maybe we was in the enlightening. More. We have the extreme right wings there, and they are cutting culture. They are cutting everything. Everything is from the point of view of the church. So you have to reproduce, no pleasure, work, have a family. They was trying also to make the abortion illegal. I mean, the woman in Italy fought for 40 years for have it legal, and they now want to keep the right to that you cannot have the right to abortion. This is, and always men decide for the lives of the woman.
But that recently happened here in this country where it's illegal. So, yeah. So Jack, I have a question. When Dom sends you one of his films, do you have a question like, dude, where did this come from? Like, how did you make this movie? Like, what was your mindset when coming up with the story?
No, I mean, yes, to a degree. I tend to go into things as blind as possible. I know the kind of stuff that Dominiziano does. I know the stuff that he specializes in. I love the stuff that because every film is different to a degree. There is a lot of common theming for sure. Like it's hard for certain directors to be able to throw off their scent on films. Like it's easy to tell like when XYZ director does whatever. And there is like a lot of like commonality throughout a lot of them, but I do try to go into as many of them with less of that bias as I can do, because I think it might end up swaying things, especially like when I know some directors on a personal level. I feel like my bias might start to come in for some of that. But no, like for example, like ELDORADO and PERDICION, I went into those as blind as humanly possible. Because I can remember when I was originally pitched them. I didn't want to know about the films. I just wanted to watch them. Just wanted to jump in without knowing anything at all and be able to like learn things off the back of it. Which is quite a chaotic way to do things. Realistically, not many people should do it. I really don't strongly recommend it unless you're ready to live like chaotically like that. But I did, and I'm glad that I did. Because I was able to remove a lot of that bias. I was able to take these films at face value, and it's what I try and do with as many of them as possible. I try and get rid of the director bias that tends to like flare up, and just really try and like understand the film for what it's supposed to be. Like I said, these things do seep through. Absolutely, it's always going to happen. But I just try and enjoy them for what they are.
Awesome. Now, Jack, if someone wanted to get in contact, a filmmaker wanted to get in contact with Unusual Horror and submit their film, how would they go by doing that?
Be prepared to sit in a long wait line is probably the first thing. Unless I'm not talking of anyone else. This is mostly just the fact that I really overdo myself, and I end up sitting on a massive backlog of things. Like for instance, there's two films that of Dominiziano's that I've already paid for the licensing for to release merchandise for a year ago, and I've still not done it because I've got so much other stuff. The second thing, just drop me an email, jack@newsandhorror.com. Like, let's have a chat. Like, I will never say no to anyone unless you film shit. But then again, some of the shit is filmed. Like, I'll never know until I watch. Like, exactly. I'll always go into things blind. I will always try and go into things as unbiased as possible. If you want to have a conversation with me, have a conversation with me. Like, I try and be approachable. And like not everything gets made. I'm sure that everyone knows that. Like, I'm not able to like pull a string and millions of pounds, dollars, whatever currency, come down. I wish I could. I wish I could pick up everything and do everything, but it's unreasonable. But like, I will never say no to stuff. Like I've spoken to directors where I know that I can't distribute their film, but like I've seen frames from it, and I've just seen like a snippet, a 10-second snippet from the film. I just be like, I want to put that on a t-shirt, and I will do it. Like I'll pick these things up, I'll take a gamble just because I think it looks cool, just because I know immediately the first thing that I'll think is I know an artist that will absolutely smash this design out of the park, and I'll do it. I've done it with quite a few things. Like a lot of the films that I've released are just like the small films. Like I've done a couple for Brian Paulin, Fetus and Septic. Both of those were just like I just like watched the films, thought those scenes were gnarly as hell, and was like, yeah, let's do it.
Good to go. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much. Like if there's a scene that I think is going to look sick on a t-shirt, I'll do it. And if not, like, and if it's something that really captivates me, we can have a conversation about doing something bigger. But like, yeah, the basic is just like just reach out to me, like let's have a chat.
I love it. By the way, I'm gonna get one of those T-shirts. By the way, because they look bad fucking ass. I want to rock them on screen. Some on my videos.
Awesome, man. Yeah. The quality, like, I really hate to like rub my own ego, but the quality is insane.
Jack, stand up a little bit, show more than the title, because yes, yeah.
Like you can't see it as well because the camera's blurry, but like it's not me. I don't print things. I do not have that much talent. It's the wonderful people at Pins and Knuckles. They do absolute exceptional stuff. And like, it's why I've been going to them ever since I started, and will really never go anywhere else. The quality is absolutely unmatched. The vibrancy of everything. You don't really get many places that print merchandise that's actually like full size to a degree. Mm-hmm. Like the stuff that I do is A3, whereas most people do A4 at most. Like the screen printing is phenomenal. Even the DTG stuff that I do is insane quality, and it always will be. Like I will never compromise on quality.
Love it. Now I have a question. So where can everyone purchase the T-shirts and their copies on DVD, Eldorado, and Live Perdition?
So store.unusualhorror.com is absolutely the best place to do that. Is the online store. I also do conventions up and down the UK. I'm doing For the Love of Horror this weekend, which is currently the UK's largest convention for horror specifically. I do festivals where people can order stuff at and like come and have a chat with me. I live in Manchester, so if there's anyone that's watching this that lives in Manchester as well, just drop me a message and I could probably just come and drop off a DVD for you to save the postage. But for international buyers, the store is the best place to go. Shipping prices are horrible. Everyone knows that. Like, I wish that I could charge less, but I lose money on some of the shipping charges anyway. So if you want them cheaper, find somewhere else. There's other I'm trying to work with other distributors to be able to provide things cheaper for people. I've recently sent out a couple of a limited amount to a distributor in Benelux. So for some of the European buyers, they'll be able to get some copies for cheaper. If any American distributors are watching, give me a shout and we'll work something out. Like, I want to make sure that things get to people cheaper. And if there's an American, European, Asian distributors that want to be able to showcase these to people over there, let me know.
About that, I want to say that I don't like to make my movies everywhere. In the contrary of many artists do, that they want to be everywhere, Japan, France, US. I like that my stuff is from a niche, precious and dedicated. So those two movies are available only in Unusual Horror Store. So because I have some people that, yes, complain for the shipping rates, but then they buy from Harrow, Ed doesn't cry. So people complain for everything. I buy movies from US too, and I pay the fees. So if you want something, you pay. If you want to know, but don't wait 1 year, 2, 3, because those movies, if you want to see, are from Unusual Horror Store. So don't hope that you can find in other place, if not in authorized other shop. But they will not be out with other distributors for now. So
get them all you can.
yes, if someone wants, are there.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm definitely going to be getting my copies. I'm gonna talk you up a screen because I would like to have my I would like to have my autograph if possible. So I'm gonna find out off screen how I can get that done. And listen, but by the way, where can everyone find both of you gentlemen on social media?
So for me, it's Unusual Horror Store everywhere, or Unusual Horror. If I've not managed to get on that social platform yet, I've probably already done it on Unusual Horror. But for Instagram and Facebook, Unusual Horror Store. Twitter, I will not call it X. I will not let Elon win. It's Unusual Store, but I rarely post on that because I don't like how much like Nazi propaganda is on there. TikTok is Unusual Horror. I'm really trying to get more onto that, but I'm failing miserably. But Instagram and Facebook are the best places.
Oh, you're a very social person.
I try to be.
No, I'm on Instagram and Facebook, but I'm very bad because I really use it not for work. It is a very personal profile full of bullshit and stupid things and me naked. And if people expect to find information about horror films and deep discussion about movies, is the wrong place to go. Is my profile. So it's better to read about me in some interviews.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, it's been an absolute blast having you on. Listen, you guys are more than welcome to come on anytime to promote
Really
anything. So definitely hit me up. Listen, everyone, please follow my man Dom and Jack. Get over to Unusual Horror and grab your copies and your t-shirts like the Horror Room will be. All right. Listen, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. That's Dom and Jack. We'll see you next time. Take care.